Hey, what's up? Welcome to DGenEd. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the chart behind me, which is of Bitcoin. Thought I'd start on that because I didn't get any requests in the live chat just yet. And I kind of imagine a lot of people are on vacation around the 4th of July. But if you're not and you want to join, let me know your thoughts, your requests in the live chat. Happy to take them. But before I do get into the video, I did want to point out one thing before I get into the Bitcoin chart is that, hey, more money, what's up? GST will, I'll add that to the list, and then I'm just going to go over one thing real quick before I get into the chart. So let's see, GST. I'm not sure if what that is, if that's, if that's crypto or if that's something else. So yeah. But yeah, I'm just going to go over this. I've mentioned it before, but just like memberships to the channel. And I just wanted to note that I'm going to be going on vacation pretty soon for about 10 days. And so I'm probably not going to be posting many videos and probably not going to be responding to too many comments. And I probably will not be streaming next Sunday. Okay, so I'll look up GST in just a minute on TradingView. But yeah, so I'm not going to be too active over the course of the next week. One thing that I wanted to try doing is I'm just going to be doing members only shorts. I don't have too much experience with shorts, and I thought it'd be kind of a fun way to be casually engaged with the community while I'm on vacation, and I would kind of open that up to, AMAs. For the most part, everything's on the table. Maybe a couple things aren't. But if you guys have questions for me and you want to do that, there are two tiers or grades of membership. One is B plus, that's 99 cents a month, and I'm actually going to make them all 99. Actually, I'm going to take that back. So the B plus will include everything. A plus, I added members only streams to it, but those haven't been too popular. There are only 3 members right now. So if you guys did want to join, B plus is 99 cents a month. A plus is $1.99 a month. And the thing that I'll probably be doing for A plus rather than members only streams, because it can just be hard to time those, I'll probably do members only videos. So probably over every weekend, I'm going to kind of be planning out my week, what I want to be buying, what I want to be watching. And so I'll make a short video kind of going over my plan for the week, and I'll make that available to A plus members only. And then B plus, we'll have all the other benefits, which will include shorts while I'm on vacation. So that could be pretty cool. Hey, Nameless, nice to see you as well. Glad you can make it. And so before I get over to the stocks, I am going to just flip over to TradingView. I will add what you've requested here. So let's see. And I'll probably look at these under the semiconductor and index tabs, but just so I have them marked here. SOXU, or is that SPXU? I'm going to assume you're asking for SPXU. So I'll put that here, and then I will switch over to this. I just wanted to mention one thing really about, Bitcoin, and also, while not TradingView, I was thinking it was TradingView. I'm probably gonna get a subscription to Unusual Whales for August, just to kind of experiment with that. So I think that should be pretty cool. But yeah, looking at the Bitcoin chart, I did just want to point out a couple things. One, of course, we've broken below this uptrend. I believe I drew that during a stream, and then while I was waiting for this stream to start, I drew these two lines, one at 52,000, the other at 50,000. Maybe we retrace to them. But right now, sorry, I keep zooming in and out. Just trying to get this zoomed in a little bit here. We did get the wick low on, it looks like Friday the 5th of 53,499 and 90 cents. I feel like that is going to be the bottom unless we see a close below it. If we see a close below it, which we have not yet, it does look pretty bad, but we have not seen a close below that level. Maybe we get that on Monday, but maybe we also see a reversal on Monday. But if we do close below let's see, close below that low that I just mentioned, about 53,500, I think we could be seeing between 52,000 and 50,000. And one thing that I think is pretty cool regarding that is if I do a Fibonacci retracement going from, the lows over here up to the highs that we saw, it looks like the 236 retracement falls right in between 52 and 50,000. Maybe we pull back to that, find it as support. If not, 40,000, about 700. Seems like, it was the base of this consolidation here. And that golden pocket will be taking us down to around 27 to 28,000. I don't think that's happening. I think 50,000 at best is going to be the bottom. I think what we're seeing right now is just people getting spooked out of the market, trying to shake out weak hands, and then we will be seeing a rally into the close of the year. So I think it's a really nice, exciting time for Bitcoin and crypto in general. And so on that note, I am going to pull up GSTUSD, which, okay, green Satoshi token. So I don't know anything about this one. But yeah, so this is looking at this on the daily time frame. It does look like, let's see. I'm not too familiar with drawing stuff on TradingView, but I think I can do a parallel channel here. Or maybe actually, let's see. How do I want to do this? A regression trend. Maybe I could do that, including all. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's see. Probably just parallel channel. So, let's see, how do I want to. That doesn't look as good as I thought it would. I'll do it from the low over here. Yeah, it looks like we're kind of like testing that. I don't like how blue that is. I don't know if that makes it any better. I'd have to, here, maybe make that, there we go. Cool, that's a little bit better to look at. But yeah, it looks like we're kind of like testing the top of that channel. I just drew that pretty roughly there. So, quite might very well be able to be adjusted, but it does look like kind of got rejected from the top of that. So maybe we see a breakout from here, but I could see a pullback to the midpoint of that downtrend. That would be coming down to around 1.5 cents, right around there, currently trading around 1.7, 1.8 cents. So I would expect, since everything else seems to be selling off a lot, that this could be coming down to there. But maybe, this is the start of a breakout. But I think that, we saw, like this close above that downtrend. We need to see not only a close above that downtrend, but also above this wick high. So that would be getting a close above about 2.1 cents. So it needs to go up to there, get a close above that to really suggest that it is breaking out. Hopefully that was helpful. And so now I am going to, hey, Dylan, I missed your comment earlier, so I'm going to add those up there. And since he commented, sorry, yeah, I guess I just completely overlooked that. I saw Nameless's comment, and Nameless used to show up to the streams all the time. Then he's kind of taking a break, and so it's always nice to see him coming back. Because, yeah, going back to the very beginning of the year, he was joining them. And so, yeah, but Dylan, I will go over HOLO and GameStop first. Although I did do the GameStop video on Friday, and so that's probably might be a better resource than whatever I go over roughly in this. And then I should note that I do have ChargePoint up here. I did just do a video on that, going over. There are a lot of timestamps in it. It's like a 22-minute long video, but I go over basically my thesis for why I think this could be the start of a gamma squeeze. But I also, caution that it could be pulling back to $1.50 because that is max pain for the week. And, I think that there's going to be a lot of downward pressure because of that. But in the video, I do go over a number of things that suggest this could be continuing higher. But anyways, I am going to switch over to HOLO. And so, yeah, the last time I did this chart was on the 13th. I'm not sure if that was a Friday. Does not look like it was a Friday. So I'm not sure when I went over this, but it still looks like, we're trading in that channel in the top portion of it. So I'm just going to extend that over here. Yeah, it's kind of in this like gray area, though. It's just been consolidating here. And yeah, I mean, it's right in between the top part of that downtrending channel. So it's kind of tricky. I mean, we have this low of 76 cents that was hit on the 27th of June. And it looks like on Friday we got a bearish engulfing candle. But, you know, we did close. That's the lowest close that we've seen. So that doesn't look so good for, you know, closing out the week. But it didn't get a close lower than 76 cents. So I look for a close below 76 cents. If we do get that, I could see price dropping down to around the midpoint of this channel. That'd be coming down to around 20 cents. So that is, you know, a 75% drop from the current price. So I think it's pretty precarious. I don't necessarily think it would come down that far. But with that bearish engulfing candle and then all of this consolidation, and you know, here there's yeah, it's just been consolidating. There's still like volume hasn't died out too much, but you know, I could see it dropping more. But I'd look for a close below 76 cents. That would suggest further downside. If it wicks below 76 cents but then closes above, that might be, you know, a flush of anybody with a stop loss at 76 cents. And then it could start to move higher. So maybe that would actually mark a bottom. But we just haven't really seen a bottoming signal yet, or at least I haven't seen that. And one thing, I don't think I have it marked here. I can adjust this to also include the 1618. That will be at a price of like 11 cents. And actually that, you know, corresponds with the midpoint of that channel. I was saying 20 cents, but that actually looks like it goes much lower. And I need to check the y-axis. It is linear, okay. But yeah, looking a little precarious, but you know, also with it being at 80 cents, once the price wants to get above $1, and we can see here that we got a wick. Let's see, on the 25th, up to a high of $1.21, a wick up to a high of $1.06 on let's see, July 2nd. So just getting rejected from $1 on the first high of 98.8 cents. So yeah, that just seems like a pretty tough level to be getting above. So I'd be cautious with it. I know it's one that's brought up in the Discord a lot. So if you are interested in HOLO, you might be able to share some ideas with people in the Discord because they do chat about it a little bit there. But I think it looks precarious. And then just going over GameStop really quick. Yeah, I mean, my stance hasn't really changed. I think that a dip to 2169, the 786 here, has not happened following, you know, this break of that level here. And so that is the next level that I would look for to, you know, like dip buy on if there is a wick down to there. And then if it does continue lower, I would think 20 cents, then 1770. And there is this gap over here that is to 1746 to fill that. So those are like the four levels that I personally would be looking to buy the dip at. And as far as upside moves, I mean, it's just hanging out here. And I think that this is just really to bore retail out of their positions before a violent move to the upside. So, you know, I think that right now it's all great opportunities to be slowly, you know, accumulating more shares, dollar cost averaging, growing positions before we get the next move. And I think that the next move will be higher than 65, at least, you know, during market hours. I think it will go past 65. I think it could go up to 80, maybe triple digits. So, but yeah, I mean, this time it's just, you know, what I try to do is I try not to go too heavy. I just do like very slow, boring dollar cost averaging with stuff like this. That's actually my strategy with like Bitcoin and Dogecoin, stuff like that. Very not exciting, but I think it's a good way to build, you know, notable positions over time. And so, you know, I will switch over to Nameless's request. But before I do that, I'm just going to take a sip of this drink. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hopefully you had a great weekend, holiday weekend. Hopefully 4th of July was awesome. I've been working all weekend, so I just got done with work. It was a pain to leave work. Glad I'm not there, and it's the start of my vacation. So cheers to everybody. I'm excited for this week. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting one following the holiday. So cheers. Cool. And so the first one that Nameless requested was SOXS. So I'm going to switch over to the semiconductor tab and I will look at that. We got a close on Friday, $20.54. Yeah, cheers, Dylan. Let's see. That is, yeah, I mean, it's above 20 bucks. This, maybe that's a spinning top suggesting a reversal. Volume's not really too impressive. I mean, it's coming down and volume's not going up too crazy or anything. So that could be suggesting, I think, a bottom could be near. Just need a little bit of a boost of volume, could start to see price go back up, maybe form a double bottom. And so, I would think, I personally haven't been adding to my SOXS position. I plan on doing that probably more heavily in the fall. I just feel like it's a more longer term position for when like the market, like Nvidia, really starts to turn around. And so just like as far as my time horizon, it's like, what am I trying to prioritize? I am holding the bag on SOXS, but I don't have tons and tons of shares, so I can get my average down pretty easily. But it's for me, it's not the right time for that. But I think that with this, maybe we could be seeing a double bottom here, ranging between 19 and 20 bucks. If we look at Nvidia, actually, Gareth Soloway's talked about this a lot in his game plan. Covers Nvidia a while, and also I have this tweet that I bookmarked that was from January about him, talking about how Nvidia just can't keep going up. The stock market, whatever. It's imbalanced. There's going to be a reckoning at some point. It's been 6 months since then. And so we've just seen things go higher. But, one thing that we did see here with Nvidia is, this bearish engulfing candle, and that engulfed the prior two trading days, hitting a high of $140.76. That was on June 20th. Following that, we got a pretty big down move in this consolidation. So that is a bear flag. And so this could definitely be breaking to the downside, although it does look like so I guess this is Wednesday, because the 4th was Thursday. Saw a green move here up about a little over 4.5% on the day, and then this consolidation over here. So maybe this is the start of a little mini bull flag. And so what I would think is an important level here is the close from June 21st, or sorry, not the close, the high from June 21st. That was at a price of $126.57. And so to negate this bearish pattern, this bear flag, I would think we'd want to see a close above that level. We did get a close above the high from June 26th, which was $128.12. We saw a close above that on Wednesday, $128.28. But still, we still have this wick high here that was at, $130.63. So I feel like that's what we need to see, a close above, to negate this bear flag. And ultimately, I think that we will see a move to the downside. But I would also not be surprised if this was a fake out, this bearish pattern, and we saw a move to the upside. Just like, how, let's see, there was a lot of volume on these days when it was coming down. Volume's kind of calmed down now that it's been consolidating here. And so, yeah, I think a surge in volume could push it back up there, but also it could be, pulling back. So I think that suggests to me that the bottom could be in for SOXS, but I'm always surprised at how low this continues to go. So I wouldn't be surprised if it broke 19, but this could be looking like a reversal with that spinning top. I think it'll, watch Nvidia tomorrow to see if it opens higher or if it's opening lower, if it's starting to break. But yeah, I mean, generally down move, consolidation, that looks like a bear flag. So cautious there. And then next one on the list is SQQQ. So I'll just go over the indexes. And so for me, SQQQ is one that I've been adding to, just very slow, very unexciting. one share a week, basically. I have an order to fill at the, I think maybe 745. I'm not sure what price. No, I think 744, the low from Friday, because I see this downtrending level of support going back to, let's see, July 19th. And, that served as support here, bounced approximately from it here, back at that level. And so I could see it, even, still respecting that downtrend. I could see it breaking 744. So for me, just add another share and then reevaluate it on the following day and or following week. But this again is one that I am, planning on, or I'm expecting the markets to be topping really like at the end of the year or into the new year. And so that's probably when I'll start to get heavier, probably like the fourth quarter of the year on these. And, maybe the bottom's in now or very soon, but I'd probably wait. You never can time the bottom perfectly. And so I just think as far as like time horizon goes, I will be getting more aggressive with my short positions, in the fall. And so like with SQQQ, it being like, below $10 a share, very easy for me to like, just like, oh, I'll add another share. I'll, add a little bit more. But with like the SPXU, it's the same type of thing. But I could see this, it actually closed, let's see, both of them closed. Yeah. Like new lows. So I could see this going lower. This SPXU, I don't have as many shares of, but it's just setting $27 aside to add more. Maybe I'd get another share this week, but for me, it's really all about time horizon. Like thinking about that ChargePoint video that I had just put out. I feel like that's going to be exciting over the course of the week, and so I kind of want to play stuff like that. This again, adding more into the fall, probably fourth quarter of the year, really getting my averages down and then holding them into 2025. I think that we will see a top in the market. And so here, now that I'm looking at SPXU, this is, I believe, 3x leveraged. I always get confused. Yeah, 3x leveraged short the S&P 500, whereas, SQQQ was 3x leveraged short the Nasdaq. And then the one I was just going over, SOXS, that is, I believe, 3x leveraged short semiconductors. That's why I was talking about Nvidia. But looking at the SPX, this is at new all-time highs. And actually, maybe it's better for me to look at the SPY because then I can see the volume there. And, looking at this, we're getting into new highs, RSI not hitting. Like the RSI is not hitting new highs. This is on the daily. 81.48, I should say, was the high in the RSI. We haven't gone higher than that since, there's just an ad going to pop up, so I'm skipping that. We haven't seen new highs in the RSI. We could, of course, as price goes higher, we could see a higher high in the RSI. But for the time being, with these higher highs in the stock price, or the ETF price, I should say, but the lower highs in the RSI, that is bearish divergence. Also, if we just, taking a big step back, what do we see with the volume over this time frame? Maybe I switch it over to the weekly time frame too. Actually, I guess maybe this is not as great of an example. This was the COVID, crash there. But yeah, so looking at this time frame, I'm just stepping back as far as I can go. Volume was pretty high over here when I believe this was, breaking a new all-time high, or wait, this is from 2021. So that was a new all-time high. We were, seeing volume very, very high. Then the volume, was high here when we hit this low. And then it hasn't been too exceptional. The volume, it hasn't really stuck out. And as we're getting into these new highs, volume is pretty low. I mean, even just looking from this high, we saw volume getting up to around over 100 million shares traded. And of course, a holiday week the past week, but let's say the 28th, close of the month, 76 million shares traded. This is consolidating after forming a new high. That's a bull flag. And then we see these moves to the upside. And this, let's see, it's yeah, getting a new high even on this smaller time frame. We see this high here, 77.7 for the RSI on June 18th, and currently 76.97. So higher high in the price, about flat in the RSI. So that's weak bearish divergence. Yeah, so I don't know. I think that this is going to be turning around eventually. But you know, you can listen to some interviews with Tom Lee, and he's talked about how, you know, he thinks that the S&P 500, I think, is going to be going to 5,800. So still more room to go into the end of the year. He's going to say people will be regretting having cash on the side, because 5% in the savings account is going to look like nothing, or, you know, whatever way to get 5%. I feel like eventually there's going to be a top. But, you know, timing the top, what you really want to see is a topping signal. Right here, we have not seen a topping signal. We're just seeing a higher high. So we did close the week. Let's look at the weekly chart here. Yeah, we closed the week pretty strong there. So, you know, I could see this going higher. So short positions, if I add to them, it's just very slow dollar cost averaging. And then, you know, second half of the year, which I guess is now really last quarter of the year, I'll probably be like doubling, maybe tripling down on those positions to really get them going. And so Dylan does a follow-up. What do you think of Solana meme coin? GME is a meme coin, so not GameStop. So yeah, I'll flip over to, assuming I can pull it up here. Let's see, GME, not GameStop USD. So let's see. Not on Coinbase. What's the best way for me to look at this? Maybe just the spot one. Yeah, so I'll pull up this chart. Doesn't have much history. I could see this. I mean, I could see this coming down, forming a bottom at like 0.3, 0.4 cents, and then going up higher. But yeah, I mean, there's just not that much history, so it's kind of tough to, you know, draw any conclusions from. If I do a retracement, you know, from the low, let's see, just lining this up there up to that high, I'd say that, you know, we want to be reclaiming, let's see, that's 5.5 cents. That's the 786 from this retracement from the low following the listing, and then going up to the high following the listing. So I would think that 0.55 cents, 0.55 cents would be a level to reclaim. But if that's not reclaimed, I mean, we closed, I guess this is Monday. Yeah, okay. So we closed, I mean, yeah, on Saturday, we broke above that level. Sunday, it looks like the close on Sunday was at 0.55 cents. So, you know, pretty interesting that I'm talking about that level. And that's what it closed at on Saturday. Now trading below it. So I'd look for a close on Monday. I believe this is GMT time, you know, Greenwich Mean Time. I believe that's what crypto goes on. And so I'd look for a close today, or sorry, on Monday, above 0.55 cents. If there's a close below 0.55 cents, I'd then look for a close below the low that was hit here on the 5th, on Friday, and that was 0.424 cents. So get a close below that. I think it's definitely going to come back to around 0.34 cents, form a double bottom, or maybe just consolidate more and then break lower. So yeah, but it's tough with not that much history there. But so for me, I mean, I would say too risky. There's not enough data on the chart to really be speculating too much. But yeah, I will flip back over here to, let's see. Let's see, the request list. All right. So I'm just going to delete the ones that I've gone over, and then I will go over the ones that Quoto just requested, which is Neo and ChargePoint. And so I don't know if you saw the video that I did on ChargePoint. I'd recommend checking that out. I think there's a possibility it pulls back to 150, but I'm excited about the potential for there to be a gamma squeeze. Maybe that's starting. So I'll leave these up here. 9 was requested by somebody in the comments. Or in a comment, and I told them, if they're here, happy to go over it. I'll probably go over that towards the end. But for now, I will pull up Neo and ChargePoint. And yeah, Neo's been impressive for me. I put out that video with the $4 on the thumbnail. And, basically, I was just preparing myself. Let's see. When did I put out that video? Let's see. I'm just checking my phone to see when the Neo video came out. That was on the 28th. So on the 28th, yeah, so I guess when this is, the 28th, I don't know, I probably did that during market hours. I was saying that, $4, it came down to a low of $4.14 on that day. If I switch over to the 4-hour chart, so it gets the after hours pricing. 414 was the low, and from that we've seen a bounce, and so I'm feeling pretty good about the bottom being in at 414. For me in my position, I haven't added or been aggressive at all. When it was hitting the highs up here on the 3rd, crossing over $5 a share, we did close at 487, so got rejected from $5 a share, and so for me, I have been very, I'll wait and see what happens as far as my position goes. It didn't go to $4. That I was planning on adding there. And so I am just kind of on the fence with Neo. And I'm just going to extend this to include all of those candles. But yeah, I do have this downtrending white line. I've gone over it a number of times, I'm sure, going back to, I believe, 2022, the end of October 2022, and then this other pivot point over here, that's June 1st of 2023. And I believe that was $7 a share there. That yellow line marks it. And we are now, we wicked below it on Friday, but closed above it. And also from this retracement that I have drawn here, the golden pocket, we wicked below that, closed above it. So I'm wondering if, this pullback, and actually this is really, really cool, that low that we saw on the 28th, $4.14, that was just above the 786 at $4.13.2. And now, so this is, from this move, we've done this retracement to the 786. From it, we've bounced up, closed above the 50% level, but couldn't hold it, pulled back, wicking below the golden pocket, that's below the 618 and the 65% retracements, but then closed above both of them. And so I'm wondering if, we've hit the low, hitting that 786. Now we're testing the next level up, the 618, holding that. Then are we going to move up to the 50%, which would be $4.83. So if we can get some closes above that, consecutive or multiple closes above it, we got this one close above it, and the high from Wednesday was $5.04. Like I had said, that is now, like the next level we need to be seeing closes above. And interestingly, there's this gap down here. We got into the gap, but we didn't close above it. We didn't fill that gap. Filling the gap would be coming to the close from June 5th, which was at a price of $5.27. So, we need to be seeing that get filled. And I feel like we could be seeing it this week. Once we get up to, let's see, the 382, that's around $5.12. That will be getting close to that gap fill again at $5.27. Might be a good amount of resistance there. So good to be cautious as, there could be some resistance there with people who are buying here, expecting it to go higher, which I was one of those people, actually. I was expecting it to go up. This was following earnings, this gap down. There might be some resistance there. I don't plan on selling my shares there. I think it's going to at least be going up to $6 a share. My average is between, I think, $5.50 and $6. Maybe I'd trim a little there, but I'd still want to hold, because I think there's a lot of upside. But, I could definitely see this getting up to there, and also want to note this downtrending level. Maybe that would correspond. That's really, like a couple Thursdays from now, the 17th or, Friday the 19th, monthly expirations. That would coincide with that downtrend intersecting with the 382 around 512. So maybe there's some resistance there, but like I said, we're starting to break above these levels, and I should, since I'm talking about all of these levels here, and maybe I drew that approximately. It's not locked into place, but I'm going to add the 236, and I'm just going to check that to make sure that is to the penny. Yep, both to the penny, top and bottom. I'm going to lock that in place. The 236 is at $5.47, right around $5.50, so there might be some resistance there. And hey, NASCAR, what's up? MAXN, high short interest, getting attention after cost move. I'll throw that up here. I will go over ChargePoint real quick just because Quoto requested that. And then I will go over MAXN, which is Maxeon Solar. And so I just went over NEO. Now I will go over ChargePoint. Okay, yeah, so I'd recommend checking out the video. It's a 22-minute long video, kind of long. But I go over basically my justification for why I could see this move continuing higher. And the reason for that, I don't know how easy it is for you guys to see. It's pretty small. I try to zoom in when I do videos looking at options. And so for the call options that expire this coming Friday, July 12th, we have a price at $1.83. The $1.50 strike, we've got almost 66,000 contracts currently in the money. And so if those are getting exercised, if we do close the week above $1.50, there could be a lot of upside pressure there that's 66,000, nearly 66,000 contracts. That is 6.6 million shares right there. And so that's a pretty good amount. Let's see, because if we look at 6.6 million, how many shares were traded on Friday? That's like more than a third of the shares that were traded on Friday. So that's a lot right there. But yeah, I could see it continuing higher, but Max Pain, I believe I have it pulled up over here. Max Pain for ChargePoint on the 12th. I'm just going to enter that, make sure it's refreshed, even though there shouldn't be any new data. Max Pain for this coming Friday is $1.50. So I expect there to be a lot of downside pressure on ChargePoint. But with all those calls currently being in the money, it looks like it could be going up a lot. But it also could be coming back to $1.50. And so kind of my strategy, which I go over in that video, I would recommend checking it out. My strategy is basically I might get one of these calls. I'm not too huge into options because I'm still learning them. But I might get one of these $1.50 calls just to partake in this madness. Cost $35. That's I can lose $35, no big deal. But if price closes above $1.50, then I could either swing that for premium, or I could then exercise the call, get 100 shares at $1.50 plus 35, so that's like $1.85, similar to current price, so no big deal. But also looking at puts, I could sell a cash secured put that expires this coming Friday with a strike of $1.50. And if that closes below $1.50, so that'd be kind of like my insurance policy, I could then pick up 100 shares at $1.50 based on call options or my options, and this I would get a premium of $2. And if price does go down to $1.50 and it does that violently, this premium will likely go up, and I could buy another sell another contract. So that'd be selling cash secured put, meaning I would need to have $150 in my account to set aside to be able to collect this premium, whatever it is. Right now, 2 cents translates to $2. That's 2 cents times 100 shares equals $2. So yeah, that's kind of like my thesis on ChargePoint for this week. I'm prepared for it to go down to $1.50. I'm also prepared for it to go higher, and I feel like it's set up to go higher. I just don't like the max pain. That makes me nervous. And, the golden pocket here is right around $1.50. So that seems, like we've tested, this uptrend as support, and we've tested the 786 as support. We haven't really pulled back to test the 786, or sorry, the 618 or the 65% level, the golden pocket there as support. So we could be doing that this week. I wouldn't be surprised by it. And so Quoto was saying, I like the ChargePoint August $2 strike. I see 15 or less. Let's see. That August $2 strike. Let's see. August. I didn't really look at the August one. And so let's see. Let's look at the August $2 strikes. Yeah, so I've been trying to pay attention to open interest. Not much open interest for the, these are puts, sorry. Calls here, switched it over. I like to look at them one or the other. It gets too cluttered for me if it's both. But yeah, the $2 strike, the $2 strike to buy that $14. So yeah, I mean, that's also like extending it out. So that's a good way to think about it. Max pain, or sorry, not max pain, open interest for both of these around 700, 6 to 800, I should say. And then, yeah, so I mean, this could be a nice way. I mean, you got like basically 3 weeks. Let's see, that's like 4 weeks of buffer before August 2nd. I don't know which date in August you were talking about, but for August 9th, we could look. Open interest, not that much for these, but these contracts are, pretty cheap. $40 for that. August 16th, this is the monthly, so there's going to be a lot more open interest. So kind of a nice way to gauge. 14, yeah, I mean, this one looks pretty nice. This is an interesting one. For the 16th, yeah. I kind of assumed that, but I thought I'd just go down the list. 16th is monthly. You can tell that here, the W here is for weekly. And so the monthlies tend to have a lot more open interest. They become available sooner than the weeklies. And so you just have a lot more weight on them. And so for that $2 strike, it's like $13. So yeah, I mean, if there is to be some volatility to the upside this week, that could be a really nice way to be involved in that. Yeah, I should have gone over that in the video. I just didn't want to be going over too much in the options table because 22-minute long video. But yeah, $13 to open up one of those calls. That is pretty intriguing. I'm actually going to note that because I could see price going above $2 by August 16th and could swing that $13 premium to $26, double the money. And so, yeah, I mean, that's not too exciting because it's just like making $13, but it's, practicing with options. So I think that's intriguing. And then the $1.50, that's $40 for that. That'd be basically putting the average at 190. But, with that, there being 4 weeks before then, or a month and a half before that expiration, I think that's playing it a little too safe. And considering the open interest, 14.4 thousand contracts open with that strike, so that's actually a pretty cool way to play it. So I like that. I wrote it down. I will probably this week buy one of these just for fun. $13, easy to risk. No problem. And I'm actually going to write that down so I don't forget. The 13 cents. And then if it does pull back this week, if it does come down to 150, maybe it goes up. And so I'm just thinking about this. I'm going to pull up the max pain for the 16th. I imagine it's $2 because of those contracts. It's actually 150. So that's kind of surprising because I would think that, yeah, maybe I'm surprised. But yeah, $2, I'm intrigued by that. Cool suggestion. I appreciate it because I'll probably get one of those just for funsies. But yeah, I see, NASCAR's comment. Sorry for taking my time getting to it. But Maxeon Solar. And so he's saying that there's a high short interest getting attention after costs. And so I should also note the market cap is 13.37 million, so it's pretty small. And there's this gap down consolidation there. Excuse me. I think I could draw downtrending. Nothing too fancy, but I could just draw this. Let's see. Where do I want to do this from? Hold it from this big green candle. Yeah, prices, really kind of resided in this channel for some time. And, here, I mean, there was a break below, kind of got to the midpoint of this red part of the channel, and then got a pretty big move up following that. Let's just get a measurement, see how much of a move that was, 110%. And so, but also, thinking about the measurement to the upside, think about the measurement to this sideways. That was about a month of trading sideways, 19 bars, so 4 weeks, almost 4 weeks. And so we just gapped down here. And so, I could see this potentially residing there. Let's do 19 bars again, just be consistent. That would be potentially, intersecting with that downtrending line around the end of July. So maybe there's a nice opportunity to be accumulating shares now while it's around 24 cents. The low was 16.68 cents. And I do always forget to do this when I look at these. Got to check the after hours price action. Only went up 1.67% in the after hours. So going from 24 cents up to 24.4. But on Friday, it doesn't look like much relative to this down move. So this down move from this break, that is a drop of 84%. So a lot of risk with this one. But on Friday, it went up 38.25%. And let's look over at the 1 hour time frame just to get an idea. So I would see maybe, I don't know how important these technical levels are for something like this, but I just noticed this wick high here from, I guess, the 3rd, July 3rd, hit a high of 27.79 cents. And then here on the 5th, we saw, actually, that's kind of weird. This was getting into, this weird with the shading here. But let's see, because holidays and stuff, it's kind of screwy. The high here was 27.80. Over here, the high was 27.79. So 2 wicks up to that level, right around 27.80, not getting any closes above. What do we see here that stands out? Is there anything that stands out? This, wick above, and then it really pulled back pretty quickly. This, wick above, but then close, but it's consolidated. So maybe this is looking like a bull flag. And again, I'm not sure how significant it is on this time frame. Looking at, really like the micro, because I'm 1 hour time frame. Maybe I could go over to the 10-minute and see maybe that's, but yeah, I mean, this, you saw like a really big arch here. Now we're seeing a big move up and then consolidation. So yeah, I mean, just looking at the chart, I could see that this is getting positioned to be at least testing the, actually, I don't need to have too many of these boxes here. So I'll just do a new measurement from about current price up to where that channel is. That's about a 260% swing. So yeah, I mean, maybe this is, while a YOLO is defined as 10,000 or more dollars, one could YOLO, changing the definition to just have fun, $24, buy 100 shares and see where that takes you. But also, knowing full well that $24 could drop to 12 cents or $12 total if 100 shares. But yeah, I mean, I think that it looks interesting. I tend to, when I get involved in stuff like this, whatever I get involved in doesn't tend to do too much. So I will not be partaking. I will not be having fun with the 24 cents there. But maybe if it's your style, this could be one to be looking at in the pre-market, see where it's trading at, and maybe it's getting ready to launch. I could see that. But I mean, and yeah, look at this too, you know. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting. What stands out about this chart? You know, going back this entire time frame, look at that massive amount of volume right there. That's pretty crazy. So, you know, volume, other than that, you know, if I just get that out, you know, we'd see highs of about 35 million shares traded. That's at this peak, you know, when there's this gap down, 35 million shares traded. And now it's like, you know, price drops, volume's increasing, so it doesn't look so good, but then we get a green move. Volume goes up to 521 million nearly shares traded. And, but, you know, it didn't close above the high from the second, which was 32.86. So I think 32.86 will be an important level. I think that some resistance might be found at around 55 cents, corresponding with the close of July 1st, which was 54.88 cents. And then there's also this other gap here right around 85 cents. The close on June 28th was 85.3 cents. And so NASCAR's got a follow-up comment on this saying the theory is MAXN will turn out to be the next FFIE. I don't know if you guys are all familiar with FFIE, but that did squeeze a lot. And so, you know, could be a pretty exciting one. That stock moved after GameStop and AMC moved 100% on May 13th. Again, a high short interest penny stock. Reddit traders love high short interest plays. Yeah, so, I mean, I feel like, I mean, this volume here, it seems like, I mean, I wonder if that's like shorts covering or something, starting to closing their position. I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of buying going on there, and that this could be maybe just the start of, this could be the bottom signal right there. This volume, green candle. So yeah, maybe it is worthwhile to throw $24 at this. But then NASCAR follows up with, but FFIE went from a 4 cent to $4 in a week. Everyone wants to find the next one now. I feel like everyone's always looking for the next one of those squeezes, because that's a pretty crazy turnaround. That's 100x, going from 4 cents to $4. I like that. Yeah, I mean, you could turn 24 cents into move that, $24 into $2,400. So, yeah, maybe that's something fun for people to partake in. And I'm not too familiar with looking up short interest, but I'm just gonna pull it up over here. So let's see. That's MAXN short interest. And so I usually just go to like Fintel. I don't know how useful this is. Short interest percent of float, 57% basically. So that's a good amount. Short interest ratio, 0.11 days to cover. Short interest is 19 million shares. And so if we look over at the chart, 19 million of, let's see, shares outstanding. Is that what I'd be looking for? Yeah, so free float, 34 million. So yeah, percent of free float. 19 is, yeah. So 19 times 2, yep, is greater than 50% of that. So yeah, I would have to say this might be a fun, you know, throw $24 at it and see if maybe a week from now that turns into $2,400. So, am I thinking about that right? 24 to, yeah, 2, that would be a 100x. And so let's actually look at that. If this were to go from 24 cents to $24. Would that make sense? There's a gap right here around 22. That seems like a pretty excessive move. Let's, though, look over at FFIE to see what we're looking at over there. And so this, yeah, went from a sub 4-cent stock up to 390. But yeah, that was like 3.81 cents up to 390. So yeah, that's 100x over the course of, in all fairness, not 1 week, over the course of, that's 2 weeks, 10 bars. So yeah, 2 trading weeks, 14 days, 14 calendar days. And yeah, so did we see something going on with the volume here? So yeah, I mean, look at this volume here, 40, oh yeah, I'm looking at the RSI, 291 million shares traded on that day. I'm just going to zoom out as much as I can, just out of like curiosity. And then that, yeah, so I mean, similar to what we saw, or what we're looking at with Maxeon, you know, very basically no volume. This is starting to ramp up, so it took some time to ramp up. But yeah, so normal volume traded was 177 million shares, and being kind of a high day. And then here, this is almost double that. And then following it, yeah, so MAXN, I will note that as well. Maybe I want to throw $24 on it and see what happens over the course of July. And maybe I wouldn't hold for 100x, but maybe I'd settle for a 10x. That would be pretty cool. I don't know. But yeah, that's neat. I'm intrigued, and I'm going to add that to the, let's see, the Degen Ed watch list, because I might do some personal degenerative education with it. See what happens. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that, NASCAR. I appreciate it. I'm sure some other viewers will be intrigued, and I will be sure to put timestamps on this right after the stream ends, but I'll probably release the stream as a video rather than a live video, because it's just, I think it becomes more accessible that way. I kind of tried doing that back and forth the past couple weeks, and it seemed to be nice. But so yeah, Quoto has TNPX requested, so I'll pull that up. TNPX. I don't know how to TNP. Let's see. I'm not sure where to find TNPX. I see a TNP, which is SACOS Energy. I don't see a TNPX though. But I'll look for a MICS, MICS. So I'll do that one. And if you let me know if it's TNPX or if it's something other than TNPX. But yeah, so let's see. Mike's looking at this. Okay, so I feel like the first thing that I could do is just draw a retracement. And I'm not going to do this to the penny. I have a habit of doing this to the penny, and I should just line it up to the approximate highs and lows. And so, yep, I know that's approximate because it's off. And it looks like, you know, price came down, broke below the golden pocket, but then, you know, is currently trading above. And so if I do look at this, let's see. And I'm actually going to add the tops and bottoms to this. The 0 and the 100%. And so, yeah, just looking at that, we can see that, you know, price went up to that high. And actually that is to the penny. So I'll lock it in place. But yeah, so following this high at $1.97, saw a pullback and a break below the golden pocket. Didn't test the 786, following this top. This doesn't count because we hadn't gotten to the top yet. We wouldn't have that measurement. And so we get a break below the golden pocket, bounce up to the 50%. That's at $1.29. And then testing like the 618 and that 65% level. So that's the golden pocket. Wick below both of those, but then a close above both. And actually, this open, there was a gap up, filled that gap. Pretty big gap up. Fill the gap and then close higher. I feel like this could settle out around the 618. That'd be around 113. We didn't. Yeah, so we closed above that. We attempted to get above the 50% at 129, but couldn't close above it. So that would be the next level I'd look for, 129 or 130, because it technically is 129.1. But yeah, I would look for it to hold 113 and to then claim 130. If it claims 130, and actually the high from June 27th was 129, interesting, that it matches pretty perfectly with that 50% retracement. So want to be seeing a close above 129. So I'd say like 130 would be nice. And, there's still this gap here. The close on June 12th was $1.46. And that corresponds pretty nicely with the 382 at around $1.45. So, those are levels that we want to see price closing above to be going higher. That would suggest, there is more moves to the upside. But if it can't hold the levels, if it's not like progressively moving higher, then, it could be in a bear flag pattern. I don't think it's there yet because, like I said, broke below the 65%, bounced up to the 50%, pulled back here, on the second, going into that golden pocket, but then going above, wicking below, and closing above. So that 113 down to like 109. That's if we start seeing closes below 109, it's losing the 65% retracement, and we could start to see it fade more. So like I'd like to see if it does pull back, no closes below 113. And if it does go higher, I would like to see closes at or above 130. And then the next level up, 146 really corresponding with the close here from the 12th. And I would expect there to be some resistance there because there was, pretty violent move down over 22% on the day. So there might be some people who want to offload shares around there. But yeah, pretty cool chart. Hadn't looked at it before. And since I hadn't looked at it before, I will add it to the DGen Ed list. And hey, Trey, what's up? NNE, I will definitely look over it. And so before I get on to Trey's requests, I'm going to say, go back to Quotos, who's saying TNXP. No need to apologize. TNXP. Okay, so Tonix Pharmaceuticals. I don't know what the name is because it's like cut off here. And so this one, for me, this one kind of concerns me just because like volume's not too high here. Volume's higher here and couldn't really get it to go up. And then price goes up, volume's pretty low. That is a half a day trading though on the 3rd. But then there's this pretty big pullback. This goes up 21% and then down over about exactly 10.5% on Friday. And so I guess I could see like these tops here acting as support. That'd be around 74 cents. And also corresponding with the open from the 3rd, which was 74 cents. So maybe that would be a support level. And yeah, for this, it's like, it's just been coming down so much. I wouldn't know where to begin because it's like, I'll do a fib retracement from here to kind of get an idea. And we haven't even necessarily formed a bottom. So how can I know that? But then I just go back and it's like, maybe this is the high. Oh, no, maybe this is the top. maybe this is the top. You know, it just keeps going back. So this just seems like it's fading into the nothingness of, let's see, 1 for 32 reverse split. I hate it when they're not at like 1 for 10. Do it at least divisible by 10. That's just annoying. Odd 2 shares. Yeah, I think that this is probably going to keep fading. If you're in it, I'd maybe have a stop loss. The low was 59.5 cents. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, what's to stop this from fading? There was a reverse split over here. This was a 4 for 25. Kind of a weird one. You know, what did that do for them? You know, the price was $57. This was 2023. This was a little over a year ago. What did that do for them? They just kept bleeding. What did this reverse split do for them? 1 for 32. We just had a 1 for 32. Price around then was $450. Yeah, I mean, their strategy is dilute, dilute, dilute. And, you know, there's a reverse split even over here. What was this one? 1 for 10. That's a reasonable one at least. But price around there was $18,000 back in 2019. Yeah, here's another reverse split, 1 for 10. Oh, look, here's another reverse split, 1 for 10. Price back here was $3 million a share. Get out. I'd say this is a, you know, not financial advice, but the strategy that they have has clearly not been working. It's a less than $8 million market cap stock. Maybe it could squeeze. Maybe it could do something like this. But, I mean, let's look at the monthly time frame. You know, it's been here. Price was $3 million a share. Yeah. This just seems like a way to throw away money. But you do you. I think it looks risky. Hey, Sean, what's up? No worries about being late. I have not looked at SOUN. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one, but I can definitely look over it. And so I am just going to add this one to the DGen Ed list, although I don't know that I'll be going back to Tonix too much because it just really looks like it's fading a lot. But let's see. So I did go over that. And yeah, so I think I'm more or less caught up. Trey did ask a request for NNE. So I'll put that up here. And Sean asked for SOUN. And this is a word of wisdom from NASCAR all out in the comments saying that he has a rule of thumb to prevent getting into stocks that dilute over and over again. I try not to trade stocks that have a high over $100 within the past 2 years. So we could use that rule of thumb looking at Tonix. And I'm just going to put it on the 2-year chart. And so this is 1 year, 2 years ago. The high was $314 for the year of 2023. So that's less than 2 years. So based on NASCAR's rule of thumb, price less than 2 years ago was above $100 a share. And let's see, the high for this year was 14, but that's only 6 months in the past. Let's see, we look at it by quarter. So we could do the quarter that we're currently in that just started. So we will look at the quarter that just ended, 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters back. So being fair, that's actually 52. That's 1 year. So 52. But then if we go back just one more quarter, price was 117. So yeah, this breaks that rule of thumb and it's a suggestion or as far as the rule of thumb goes, to avoid a stock like this because they're just going to keep diluting and they're going to be making those shares that you're holding worthless. So that's a really good rule of thumb. So I think it's a good one to have. I don't mind a little dilution, just not excessive dilution. Yeah, and I think like the example that I did, just scrolling back so many years, they just keep diluting. It's like a quarterly activity for them almost. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. And so yeah, rolling that money into a different stock, ADAP. I'll add that up here, but I'm going to go over some of the other requests that did pop up, but I will pull up ADAP in a minute. And I might actually go over Sean's real quick because he is a member. And so I just want to make sure that, members get the benefit because there aren't too many members and I don't have too much on the table as far as what's offered there. So I do appreciate it, Sean. But yeah, so looking at NNE, I had recently gone over this. And so, yeah, this is a pretty new chart, not much to go off of, but so going from that low of 325 up to the high that was hit on June 25th, 37.51. What happened? We pulled back to the golden pocket, bounced from there, also from this uptrend. Yeah, I think when I opened this up, I think you requested it. I was like, there's not much to go off of here. I'll see what I can do. I think the chart looks really cool. That's a beautiful bounce. I actually don't know when I went over it last time. But yeah, I mean, when you get the thing that I think is really cool about charts, sometimes I'll be like, I like this level. I want it to bounce there, or I think it might bounce there. Like, let's say the 50% level. Sometimes stocks bounce at the 50%. But then you get a confluence of levels like this uptrend and that golden pocket. Beautiful, beautiful bounce right there. Going up from the golden pocket with that wick high on July 1st, getting up to a price of $32.39, which is above the 236 at a price of $29.42. Wick above there, but couldn't close above it. And actually on Friday, just closing, pushing an ad away because I don't think they add too much for live streams. I think they take more than they give. And so did get a wick above the 236 on Friday, getting to a high on Friday of $29.49. So just 7 cents above the 236. I think that level's acting as resistance. But, it's acting as resistance. We can think of this in two ways. A down move and consolidation, or we got this bounce here off of that confluence of levels, the golden pocket and that uptrend, and now we're consolidating. And so I think this looks more like a bull flag than a bear flag. What would make me think it's a bear flag is if we got a retrace to the 618, that's around 1631, or maybe testing this uptrend so soon. I would want to see the 50% level at a price of $20.38 hold as support. Maybe we get a wick down to that level, but not a close below it. And so what I see really with the chart is that the 382 at 24.42, that acting as support. You noticed on Wednesday, on the 3rd, we got an open above, a close below. That served to kind of fake people out over the holiday. And so following that, on Friday, we saw a gap up and a move of 20% to the upside. And so I think that this is playing games with retail right now. And so I think you saw a break of this level, but no confirmation. A confirmation signal would be the low on the 3rd, being $23 a share. If we saw a close on Friday below $23 a share, that would then be confirmation of a break, losing the 382. We didn't see that. We saw a fake out on Wednesday and then a gap up, rejection from the 236. So I expect the 382, which is 24.42, to now be acting as support. And so maybe we get some wicks below, but I would not expect any closes below at this point. We already saw that, and I think that we are showing strength here, that this is going up. And so especially too, with this right here, low volume with that drop on that day, granted it was a half a day of trading, we saw that drop and actually gapped down from the previous day's close. And actually, that gap's since been filled, but a gap down, there wasn't much volume on that day. So, suggesting a continuation to the downside, there'd be volume backing that move. People offloading shares, people attempting to buy the dip, but people just continuing to offload. Lots of volume traded. That suggests the price is going to continue going in the direction that it's going in. We saw very low volume on Wednesday, less than 2 million shares traded on Friday, still kind of being like an off day because we had the 4th off, half a day on the 3rd, and then the weekend. So, I imagine a lot of people weren't too active. Almost 5 million shares traded on the day. So that's about double, basically exactly double what was traded on the 3rd. See this big move up. So yeah, I'd like to see it hold 24.42, and that means not getting any closes below it. So I think the chart looks really nice, and I think that there could be another attempt at 37.51 soon. So yeah, I like it, but things that would negate it, I should point that out just to be crystal clear. A close below the low from Wednesday, which was $23. A close below that would negate this bullish pattern, and that would make me think price could be coming down, maybe to this uptrend, which would be around 1750, and then from that we'd have this move to the upside followed by big consolidation here. That would be a big bear flag to me in my view. So hopefully that's helpful. I think it's a really cool chart considering the small amount of data that's there. But yeah, really neat. And so NASCAR, and I will get to Trey's request, which was, let's see. Wait, oh crap. Sorry, Sean, I went over the wrong one. I meant to go over SOUN. I went over Trey's request. I meant to go in the opposite order, but that is the way that it was requested. And so NASCAR, I'm just going to read NASCAR's comments. And then before I do that, before I add anything to the chart, I'm going to pull up SOUN. Sorry about that, Sean. And so I totally forgot I asked you about it. That's my bad. I just sat down with dinner and got excited. No problem, Trey. No worries. And so hopefully that was helpful, what I just went over. NASCAR's saying, can you check out PHIO? So I'm just going to, I'll add it here so I don't forget, but then I will go over SOUN. And yeah, thanks for being chill. And so I'm just going to add Phio over here, PHIO. And so NASCAR's saying it had a 1-to-9 reverse split on Friday. Last week we had a few micro float stocks have a nice move, CNPS and IVP, if you guys want to check those out. Post split, Phio has only 510,000 shares outstanding, and the average daily volume is super low, only 63,000 listed on the open TOS. I'm not sure what TOS is, but not sure if it runs, but if there's any action pre-market on Phio tomorrow, NASCAR is interested for a squeeze at the open. So I'll go over that in just a second, but I am going to go over SOUN. And so, yeah, this looks pretty cool because, let's see, Friday. It's only a 6.6% move, but it did close above the high that was hit on the 28th. And so this to me, this looks like, you get this down move coming down from really like the 13th, get this gap down between the 13th and the 14th. This is like making the flagpole, and then you got this consolidation here, making me think it's a bear flag. But then here's where like the nuances of confirmation are going to make this be a little bit confusing. So the high from June 28th was $4.13. And so I might actually put a line there just so we have record of that, $4. And I have to adjust this a little bit. I'll make that a little bit thicker. Make that yellow so it stands out. Okay, so we got to close above that high. So that kind of makes me think that, this bearish pattern, this bear flag, this bearish consolidation, we've broken above that key level. But I don't think that's confirmation. I think that is just saying, hey, there's this high, $4.13 that was hit at the end of June. We're gonna pump it up, get a close above that, make people think we're going to continue higher. We're going to go to new high, or, fill this gap, whatnot. I guess it's already been filled. Fill this gap up here to 462. And, but really, we saw a close above that level. So that's saying that, hey, maybe we're breaking this bearish pattern, but that's not confirmation. It's still a bearish pattern. What would be confirmation that we're negating that bearish pattern would be a close above the high hit on the day that the break was made. So the break above this high was made on Friday, the 5th, and the high on Friday the 5th was $4.22. So now, I guess I'll color this one orange. So not red. Red is, being below that level. Now it's orange, the light's starting to change color. And there's no green because nothing's certainty. Oh, Think or Swim, cool. On Schwab, it's TOS from NASCAR is saying that. And so above this orange level, it's no longer a red light. Maybe it's an orange light. And then now we have this high that was hit on Friday of, high $4.22. Just going to draw that here. And $4.22 right there. Now, if we can get a close above that, we're in the yellow. And why do I say yellow and not green? Because nothing is a certain thing. But if we do get a close above that, I would think that this bearish pattern is negated. Maybe if we do get a close above that level, there would still be a pullback, but maybe to retest 413 now as support. That could be, or, it could even go lower. Like if we throw up the volume, I need to add the volume profile here. I don't know what happened to my volume profile. Let's see, indicators, volume profile. It's got to be up here. Yeah, VP. Okay, there we go. It's panicking a little bit there. But yeah, so the, let's see, this volume point of control is the middle here. That corresponds with a price of $3.95, just about. I don't think it would pull back to be that low. I think, coming back to that retracement that I did, we see the 786 at $4.03. I had done this retracement before, might be familiar from the last one. And so, hey, what's up, Jeff's Travels? How's it going? A-money, I like it. So from this, I think it's great that we saw a close above 413. I think we need to see a close above 422. If that doesn't happen tomorrow, it could happen on Tuesday. As far as my understanding of confirmations go, doesn't have to be right away. It could be a couple days later. But that is now an important level because that was the high on the day that the break happened. And so, yeah, I look for 422, close above. Once that happens, then maybe a pullback to 413, maybe to 4 or 405. 403 is the 786. From that, if that happens, I would think that'd be a wick down. I wouldn't want to see any closes. If we get a close above 422, wicks down to 413, $4, whatever, that's fine, as long as we see closes above 413. So that's what I would look for, and then I would look for a move to, actually, I'm just going to gray, let's see, how do I want to do this? Make it blue so it's not as intense. And then I'm going to draw another Fibonacci retracement going from the high here now of 597 down to the low of 382. So that looks marked right on the bottom, but not marked right on the top. And so 597 right there. And so from those white lines, yeah, we see the 236 that is at 432.7 or 433, corresponding pretty nicely with the 65% retracement getting into that golden pocket, which is between 436.5 to $4.44.4 is the 618. So, really looking at the 432 to 450 range. That could be like the next level that we want to see moving up to reclaiming after we get a close above 422. So yeah, I think it's looking pretty good. I think it looks like the bottom could be in following that pullback. So yeah, looking pretty nice. And then I guess, I should note too, always got to caution about the downsides. If it does, really start to break below these levels, a close below this low of 382, that'd make me think that 350 is back on the table. So I keep an eye out for that. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful. And so now I'm going to go back. I think it was NASCAR's comment on Phio, PHIO. And I'm going to actually, I believe this is on the, DGen Ed list. So I'm going to delete some of these just to clear up some of the clutter. I believe this one is as well. And Neo is, of course, 9. Somebody requested that. I'll go over that at the end of the stream, which I'll probably be ending soon, because I want to watch House of the Dragon, because I feel like there's some battles in it today. I know there's some battles in it, and I want to watch it. And I'm tired. I worked 12 hours. I was at work for 12 hours and 45 minutes today. It sucked. I don't like my job, but it pays me. Get paid double time on Sunday, so it's all good. FFIE, believe that's on there. Yep. And these other ones, ADAP, I'll go over that in a minute because I know Quodua was mentioning it. And and I see Quoto's comment as well. Nice rule of thumb, NASCAR, that he'll apply that. So yeah, I think it's really cool. And the rule of thumb is if there is a stock that's diluted many times, there are a lot of reverse splits. A good thing to keep in mind is that if you look back 2 years in time, if the price was $100 following all those reverse splits, that means that, it's probably not worth it. They're just diluting it into oblivion. So be cautious with it. And on the note of reverse splits here, there's a 1 for 9 with Phio. Why 1 for 9? Why not just do 1 for 10? It's so much easier than, the 524 was previously 52 cents. Is that right? Yeah. So it's just much easier to do the math, but whatever. I'm just going to read over NASCAR's comments on this. Again, just so we're all on the same page. They just had a 1 to 9 reverse split on Friday, as we can see here, the 1 to 9 reverse split, or 149 reverse split. And last week we had a few micro float stocks have nice moves, CNSP and IVP, if you guys want to check those out. Post-split, Phio has only 510,000 shares outstanding. So I assume that's the, 5. Okay, so shares outstanding right here. You can see that 510.19 shares outstanding. And the average daily volume is super low, only 63,000 on Thinkorswim. And so on Webull, I got 29,000 on Friday, 15 on Wednesday, half a trading day. This high was about 35,000. Yeah, so not too many shares traded. Yeah, look at that. So that's pretty, it's like you see this big move corresponds with this big move up. So, and before that, what was going on with the volume? Nothing, pretty flat. Even this stuff going on, pretty flat. And following, let's say this down move, how long did it take for it to go over there? That's about 3 weeks, I'd say. That's about 4 weeks before that big move up. And it did fade a good amount. And so here, this is 524. And what kind of move was this? This percentage move was about 30%, almost 30%. But if we go from basically the close from the day before up to that high, it's about a 60% move. So this could potentially be getting back up. Let's say just getting back up to here. That's going to be about 20% move, 27% move to get back up there. But maybe that takes a little while and it fades. And so here, following, down move and then it faded. We could see, down move and faded. It came down from there about 18% over the course of 2 months, or over the course of 1 month. And so, really, like, if we were to think about it, 18% to the downside, just, hypothetically, theoretically, what that could be bringing price down to like 430. So it's not really that crazy. So maybe this is one that could be doing something maybe over the course of the next month, but NASCAR did have a follow-up. Not sure if it runs, but if there's any action pre-market, so that would be, starting in like 6 hours or so, NASCAR potentially be interested in it for a squeeze. And one that I did go over, if you missed it, MAXN. I meant to leave it up here because I was going to look at it myself, but that one looks like it has a good amount of potential to run. And so, I might partake in a small position of that. I've kind of convinced myself, but I'll crunch the numbers of my, balance, see what I got on the side. Maybe I'd do that. And so Phio, yeah. And also too, interesting in the chart, low over here of 450, but the close was 495. And so on Friday, we got a wick down opening at $5, wick down below 495, bounced. So maybe there's a double bottom there. That's what I'm thinking. This close, was 495. And so looking at that to the penny, yeah, I mean, maybe there's a double bottom there. I think that's pretty cool, following that reverse split. And so very neat. Hey, what's up, WS? And yeah, I don't know if I'll do a video on Maxeon because I don't one thing that I've been finding, and actually over the past week since I forgot to mention, or maybe I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream, it was an hour and a half ago, but I'm going on vacation over the next 10 days or so. I'm probably not going to be doing too many videos. And so over the past week, one thing that I've done, which I'm really proud of myself for, is rather than, sticking to the stocks that I had done the previous week, or going with if somebody requested something rather than just going with the request, I went with, what video do I think is going to perform well? What do I think looks interesting? What am I interested in? And, with the goal of, I want, when I first started the channel and I was starting to pick up views, it's like, okay, my goal is I want videos to get 100 views. If they get 100 views at any point in time, over the course of a week, actually, then I would repeat that stock, do a follow-up. And now it's like, if videos perform well, they get more than 100 views in the first 24 hours. And so every single video that I put out in the past week has received more than 100 views. 3 of them have received more than 1,000 views. And the one that did not get more than 100 views was about 83, I believe, and that's the Polestar one, which I kind of flopped on calling the bottom on that. But I think it's good to exercise caution with it, so I was fine with that. But yeah, it didn't get as many views. But all of the videos that I did, it's like I'm learning, what gets views and stuff better. So I find that really nice. And so as far as Maxeon goes, I don't know that covering that would get enough views to warrant me making a video on it, but I might do a post on it. So check the community page of the channel while I'm on vacation. I'll probably be doing updates there if I do any updates. And always so many plays. And let's see. So my vacation, tomorrow is just kind of my wrapping stuff up around the house. And then the next Tuesday and Wednesday, I'm going to be in Chicago for a couple days, just kind of enjoying myself and not around family, not around friends, just hanging out, chilling out. And so I'll probably do some videos when I'm there. But then after that, I'm heading to LA to see family. And my time will probably more or less be devoted to them. And so my videos will probably be limited heavily, and I probably won't be responding to comments and whatnot. But yeah, I'll be back, coming back, I think on the 17th or 18th. So And let's see, I'm just catching up on these comments, or the live chat, I should say. Hey, you guys, WS is saying, hey, you guys looked at SAVA in relation to GameStop. No, I have not, but I can pull up SAVA here. This is SAVA Capital. It's an ETF. I'm going to want to read about this ETF. Let's see. Profile, SAVA Capital Income. Is this what you're talking about? And so just catching up on all of the live chat before we do. Sean says, nice, then go enjoy vacation. There are always other plays out there for sure. WS says, nice, great to hear. The channel is growing. Yeah, it's, and I think a lot of it is probably because of Roaring Kitties come back. And and actually, I had some covered calls on GameStop that closed in the money. Very disappointed in myself regarding that. But that got me thinking, hey, I mean, this could be the sign that stuff's happening. And then I started covering GameStop again. And then Roaring Kitty came back. And so, yeah, and just videos like analyzing his memes, stuff like that. It's just a lot of fun. People have been, gravitating towards the channel, I think, because of the coverage of that. So that's been a really nice boost. But also I just did a video on Palantir that, I recognize like, well, maybe it's going to pull back a little bit. Maybe these gaps that I'm looking at are going to get filled. But big picture, this is a great long-term hold. I should talk about that. And so that's what I did. And yeah, that was a pretty popular video. So I'm learning the way that algorithms work. I'm learning the way that people wanting to, hear about stocks. They don't want to hear about stuff that it's, just going down. And so I got to focus on the ones that I think that they've about to turn around, start going up and stuff like that, or to continue going up. Oh, SAVA. Okay. I will delete SAVA, S-A-B-A. Sorry if somebody was looking forward to that. S-A-V-A. Oh, Cassava. I've gone over this, I think. Let's see. Wait. SAVA. Yeah, okay. SAVA, Cassava. Is this a burrito place or sciences. Biotech company focused on Alzheimer's. Cool. I saw something recently about Alzheimer's, maybe a breakthrough or something. Let's see. What's news going on? Eli Lilly gets FDA nod for Alzheimer's drug donanemab. Cassava Sciences, a moonshot becomes a bigger long shot. And so I think that's, they're working on an Alzheimer's thing. It looks like Eli Lilly beat them to it. And so that news came out 4 days ago. Let's see, what day did it actually come out? On July 3rd. This is invasive. Too much going on in this. So I'm going to close that, come back here. July 3rd. That's not what dropped it. 5 days ago here. Let's see. Cassava Sciences, latest blow to simulfilm thesis as former advisor indicated. 6 days ago, Seeking Alpha, they're going to kick me off July 1st. I don't get access to their stuff. They're annoying. July 1st was right here. So corresponding to that, they got kind of a bounce. Let's see, what's 7 days ago? Or greater, this is all 6 days ago. I want something. So 28th, Cassava Sciences shares plunge on indictment against former advisor. So that's why we see this plunge here. I'll look at the chart in a second. So I'm just going to go over this real briefly. So Cassava Sciences shares plunge on indictment against former advisor. And so a federal indictment of a lead scientist working as an advisor for Cassava Sciences, which has an Alzheimer's drug in late-stage clinical trials, sent shares sharply down Friday. That seems kind of emotional because it's a lead scientist working as an advisor. Wait. It says against former advisor. Indictment claims that Wang, a paid advisor to the company and medical professional at the City University of New York, defrauded the National Institutes of Health around $16 million in federal grant funds. Wang allegedly engaged in a scheme to fabricate and falsify scientific data in grant applications made to the NIH, Institutes of Health on behalf of himself and the biopharmaceutical company. And so that would be SAVA or Cassava, according to Department of Justice press release. Cassava shares closed down 35% on Friday, closing the month of June at a price of $12.35, hitting an intraday low of $8.79. You can see that right here, before recovering some of its losses and are down 45% for the year. Recovering some of those losses now at 10.22, but coming down about 1.5% in the after hours Friday to 10.07. And so they have lost they have lost 92% of their value since peaking in 2000 at $161 a share. And so we could look at that in a minute. Cassava is also facing shareholder lawsuits related to Wang's work. One filed in federal court in Austin, Texas, earlier this year, since the company overstated the effectiveness of its Alzheimer's drug, Simulfilin, claiming rampant data manipulation and significant anomalies undermining the validity of the research. And so I'll just continue this. I find this to be interesting. Hopefully my reading is entertaining. The drug currently in phase 3 clinical trials is aimed at slowing the disease progression by stabilizing a critical brain protein. The company recently raised 120 excuse me. The company recently raised $125 million from warrant distribution to continue its development. Wang didn't immediately reply to Barron's request for comment, but Cassava said that Dr. Wang and his former public university medical school have had no involvement in the company's phase 3 clinical trials of Simulfilin. Wang continues to be listed on the company's website as co-lead scientist, so let's check that out after this, on discovery and development of Simulfilin. The company didn't comment on the shareholder suits. Alzheimer's drug research is in a new era, with Eli Lilly's treatment, donanemab, expected to receive FDA approval, which it did, as far as I understand. I can't scroll that right now. And so it's part of a new class of therapies known as anti-amyloid antibodies, which work by attaching to and removing brain plaques associated with the disease. Biogen's Alzheimer's drug, Leqembi, which got approved in 2023 and is also covered by Medicare, works similarly. Similar type of approach. Copycats. It's like the saying about good artist creates, great artist steals. So okay, so you can correspond to the author here. And so let's check out their website. I'm curious about them, and then we can look at this the chart a little bit. I don't know if this is interesting, me diving into this. And so Bitcoin miners, I'm just not too plugged into the Bitcoin and crypto world too much, because I just do for me, I just do dollar cost averaging, and I'm ready for dips. I'm ready for rips. I just kind of hang out. And so I'm not the best at commenting on Bitcoin stuff or miners, because I just haven't, I guess, built up the base for it, or the audience for it. Cassava Sciences. So let's look at this. Science. All I have to say is this creeps me out. I don't know about you guys. That's the uncanny plane, is it? When it's things look almost real, but not quite. And so they just look weird. This looks just weird. Uncanny Valley, that's what it is. I keep clicking on this, and I want to go to that. Let's see. I'm just going to search this for Wang. Wang is no longer listed here, or let's look here. Wang, 0. I'm surprised he's not listed under publications. So this is interesting. Let's go right to the get right to the source. This came out on June 28th. Cassava Sciences issues statement on former science advisor, and we are referring to Wang here. And so from Austin, Texas, June 28th, Cassava Sciences reported it has learned today that a federal grand jury returned an indictment charging Wang for allegedly defrauding the U.S. National Institutes of Health, or NIH. And so Wang was a tenured medical professor at a public university's medical school. I believe the University of New York, or I forget what it said over here, but the one that I had pulled up. I don't know if this is what I went. Oh, no, I'm not gonna try to remember the school, the university, and as well as a former paid science advisor to Cassava Sciences. According to public court documents, Dr. Wang engaged in illegal behavior to defraud the government through grant applications made to the NIH, resulting in the award of approximately $16 million in grants, approximately 2017 to 2021, on behalf of himself and the company. So trouble there. Wang's work under these grants was related to the early development phases of the company's drug candidate and diagnostic tests and how these were intended to work. Dr. Wang and his former public university medical school have had no involvement in the company's phase 3 clinical trials of simulfilm. I think there's, wording about this is very, I really like getting into wording of things. And so has had no involvement in the company's phase 3. Why did they specifically say phase 3? Because he was involved in phase 1, he was involved in phase 2. That makes me think this is questionable. I find it questionable. And so coming back to the chart, what I can see and kind of what I've been learning, time can be on your side or you can be going against time. And right now with this violent move down and this, although this is something potentially interesting, I'm going to get the rectangle tool. I'm going to make it be green and I'm going to draw a rectangle here. This is not very good. So this would be a rising 3 methods. So big green move followed by 3 candles coming down, followed by a big green move. Stuttered there. And so that is a suggestion that bullish moves would continue. What bullish moves would continue? And so I think that this is going to be a bear flag. I think this is going to continue lower and or consolidate more. Time is not on our side right now. I think that this is probably going to hang out here lower. And if it does move to the upside, I think maybe that would be after a couple weeks. Maybe there's some news that clears them a little bit. And then this could maybe start to go back up. But I would want to distance myself from this because he was clearly involved in the earlier phases. He was involved in the phases, the clinical trial phases that have passed. So a fraud was involved in the clinical trials that passed. Were those phases even legitimate then? Like, what was there questionable science? Was there questionable results going into what patients? Clinical trials were being delivered to patients, to volunteers, I guess I should say. So I think that this is pretty questionable. And I would think that, news on the third trial would be good. You would hope that would be good. That would send the price higher. But yeah, I would want to stay away from this one. And I think that I don't have it on DGenEd, even though I feel like I've gone over it before. But yeah, so hopefully that was helpful. Kind of a deep dive into more fundamental stuff. I don't usually do that, but hopefully that was helpful. And so I'll look over at the Bitcoin miners, and then I'm probably just going to go over 9 real quick because somebody had requested it in a comment. I don't know that they'll watch this. What am I looking for? BTC miners. Got a lot of them. Just kind of like related stocks here. I'm just going to look at Mara pulling back to around 20 bucks. That was the red line that I had drawn here. Yeah, let's look at Bitcoin. I mean, for me, I'm a believer in Bitcoin. And so I'm not really too interested to trade. I just try to stack Bitcoin and USD. And then Coinbase, this is the one I usually look at. Yeah, I think that we saw a bounce. And yeah, I mean, I think that until we see a close lower than the low hit on the 5th, which was about 53,500, I think that the bottom is in. I think people are panicking. I think that Mara came to $20 a share. Maybe I should do a video on Mara tomorrow. Because, just looking at this, and I can do a retracement from the low here up to the high here, 1857. This, nothing there, so yeah, from 311 up to 309. So I've got to click on this, lock it into place. 311. And so, yeah, I mean, it like bounced from here, from the golden pocket, came up, reclaimed the 50%. Now maybe it's reclaiming 20. So yeah, I think that this could be going back up to 34 higher. I think that Bitcoin is going to be making all-time highs by the end of this year, potentially in 100,000. So yeah, I'm excited by Bitcoin and crypto and stuff. But what I'm probably going to do is come back to the requests and look over at 9 real quick. And so looking at 9, I could see this as being a bull flag, big move up with volume behind it. With this consolidation, volume has been diminishing, so just need a surge in volume that will send it higher than, let's see, are these levels. At this point, I don't think this retracement is that significant. I think that what we want to do is do a retracement from the high here at 326, coming down to the low of 137. And so I think that what we want to see with 9 is a reclaim of the 236, which is at 182. Got a wick above it, multiple attempts to get above it, couldn't get above it. Then we kind of pulled back to this orange downtrend, which is based on, take it with a grain of salt, I guess, because, yeah, it's not lined up perfectly. I'm just going to arrow forward. Yeah, I mean, this got rejected from there, pulled back. Maybe this is not looking so good. I mean, basically what I look for is a reclaim of, wow, and look at this. I have no idea. Sometimes this happens. I was like, man, that looks weird. It looks like I'm seeing double right there, 181.6. That corresponds with the 236 there. And this other level going back from, what is this from? That's an extension. Yep, that's a fib extension from here. And so I think that's pretty cool that happens to be the exact same, to the fraction of a penny, level right here that we just got rejected from. You can see that wick there, and couldn't close above even this orange downtrend, which that would be right around a price of 17 cents. The close for the month of June, or the week ending on June 28th, the close was 168. So yeah, got rejected there. So I think we need to see a close above that week's high, which was 187. But really, we need to see a reclaim of 182. I think that stands out from these retracements as being a pretty important level. And a close above 187 would be a reclaim of that, starting to suggest it could be going higher. So I think that, this one looks like it's kind of iffy. Could lose it, could pull back, could test this downtrend, which locked into place. I don't know how exact it is. But yeah, maybe it's going to pull back and test that as support. But I'd like to see a close above 182. So those are my thoughts on that one. And with that being said, I'm just going to take a step back and switch over to Bitcoin. This is what I opened on. And I'm just going to close on this as well. And so, before I do close the stream, I'm just going to throw this up here. If you guys do enjoy the content, I just shared, actually, I'm going to start this over. I'm just going to start this over. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. But those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, like the channel, and subscribe, all of that stuff. I'm a little bit flustered because I've been doing this for about 2 hours. So, anyways, I put up that little GIF, that animation. Make sure you like, subscribe. Always appreciate your comments in the on the videos and in the live chat. It was a nice stream tonight. I enjoyed it. Glad I don't have to be at work tomorrow. I'm going to try to put timestamps on this right after the stream, and I'll release a video with that, so it's easier access. Hey, Sean, what's up? And then I will be releasing it as a video, and then I'm going to watch some House of the Dragon. Tomorrow, I might do a video on Mara, just general Bitcoin miner. I don't want to go over all of them because it just gets, it's tough for me to do that. And then I will also probably do a video on some of my thoughts on some stocks that I've covered in the past couple weeks, and I've just felt like, maybe I don't have positions in them. Maybe I should start building positions. Maybe I can do it just as like weekly swings or longer term accumulations, depending on the time frame, depending on the stock. So I thought I'd do a video on that. Might be of interest. And I'll get some more videos out tomorrow. But tomorrow is going to be the last day of any sort of normal videos. I will be doing these just for my laptop for about the 10 days after that, coming back on the 17th, but might be getting back late. So, but I'll try to do some videos periodically, but I'll definitely be doing some shorts for members. So if you're missing me, I'll be back around the 17th or 18th. Otherwise, you can become a member, and I'll be posting some shorts. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, guys. It was a really fun time, and I hope the week's not looking too bad for you guys. I'm excited for vacation. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope you guys have a great start to the week. I think it's going to be a pretty exciting week. So maybe I'll do a maybe when I'm in Chicago, I could do kind of a fun vacation stream. So we'll see. That would have to be on Wednesday. So we'll see about that. I'll keep you guys posted. Thank you so much for hanging out. Take care and have a great night.